Today, we're going to dive deep into a children's story that, believe it or not, holds some incredibly profound truths about the problems we all face in our lives. Using the lens of psychologist Jordan Peterson, we're going to unpack what the story "There's No Such Thing as a Dragon" can teach us about ourselves.
So, let me ask you a question. What's the most dangerous thing lurking in your house right now? You might think of something obvious, right? But this story suggests something else entirely. It suggests the most dangerous thing is actually a small, seemingly harmless problem, the one you're pretending isn't there. It might just be a little dragon.
So the story kicks off simply enough. There's this boy, Billy Bixby, and he wakes up one morning to find, a dragon in his room. But it's not some terrifying, fire-breathing monster. Not yet, anyway. At this point, it's just a little guy, about the size of a kitten.
Okay, so what is this dragon, really? Psychologically speaking, of course. Well, it's a symbol, right? It stands for the unknown, for something unexpected that just shows up in our ordered world. It's partly danger, sure, like a predator, but it's also the promise of something valuable, the treasure that's always hiding in the things we don't yet understand.
And this right here is our first huge insight. Billy doesn't run away. He actually interacts with this small, unexpected problem. And what happens? The dragon is friendly. It shows that when you voluntarily confront a problem while it's still small and manageable, the experience can actually be a positive one.
But this is where the story's central conflict really begins. Billy, having made friends with this little dragon, does what any kid would do. He goes to tell the main authority in his life about it, his mother.
And her response is everything. She doesn't just disagree with them, she flat out denies reality with total and utter certainty. And this introduces the story's big theme, willful blindness. That stubborn, active refusal to see a problem that is literally staring you in the face. And this is exactly how denial spreads. A problem pops up, you bring it to an authority figure. That authority says, nope, doesn't exist. And what happens? You start to doubt your own eyes. Billy knows the dragon is real, but because his mom says it isn't, he just stops interacting with it. He adopts her denial.
So you can probably guess what happens next. This denial has an immediate, totally unavoidable consequence. Because what happens to problems that we just pretend don't exist? Well, one thing's for sure. They don't just go away.
It's a simple, powerful rule in this story, and let's be honest, in life. The very act of ignoring the dragon, of denying it's even there, is what gives it power. It's like the problem literally feeds on the refusal to see it. The growth starts out small, almost deceptively. It goes from a harmless, little kitten-sized thing to something more substantial, the size of a dog. The trend is obvious, but because it's gradual, it's still, somehow, easy to ignore.
And this just nails a universal principle. Like Peterson says, these little unexpected things that pop up in life, they have a natural tendency to get bigger, to turn into predators if you just look the other way.
Pretty soon, the problem isn't just sitting there quietly anymore. It starts actively messing things up. It breaks the rules, sitting on the dinner table. It starts consuming the family's resources. It eats all the pancakes. And to keep up the lie that there's no problem, Billy has to lie too, saying he's not hungry. The ignored problem is now literally controlling the family's behavior.
It's a lot like ignoring a tax bill you get in the mail. At first, it's just a piece of paper. But it doesn't just sit there, does it? It gathers interest and penalties and warning letters until it mutates into this monstrous, scary thing, all because you didn't deal with it at the start.
And this brings us to the chaotic climax of the story, where that willful blindness has allowed a small problem to become a full-blown catastrophe that takes over absolutely everything.
By noon, the dragon has gotten so huge that it fills the entire house. The very structure that was supposed to keep the family safe is now defined by the problem. Normal life, totally impossible.
The symbolism here is just so powerful. The house, that's our structure, our safety, our order. And now, that entire structure has been swallowed by the chaos of this unacknowledged dragon. The problem has become the house.
I mean, look at how fast this all happens. What was just a minor annoyance in the morning is a force of total chaos by the afternoon. The family's home, their entire world, is completely out of their control.
Its path is now being dictated by the very problem they refuse to even see.
But right when it seems like all is lost, the story gives us its turning point. After total catastrophe, denial is finally pushed aside and replaced by something, well, something heroic.
And this is it. This is the moment of courage. While his mother is still repeating her denial, Billy finally speaks the truth. And he doesn't just admit there's a problem, he insists on its reality and its true size. This is what brave confrontation looks like.
But it's not enough to just see the problem, is it? Billy follows his words up with action. He voluntarily pats the dragon on the head, the same way he did when it was just a tiny kitten. He faces the chaos with courage, not just words.
And the result is instantaneous. It's almost miraculous. The second the dragon is acknowledged, the moment it's seen and touched, it shrinks all the way back down to its original, manageable, kitten-like size. That is the incredible power of facing reality head-on.
So ultimately, the story lays out two paths for us, right? You have the mother's path of willful blindness, which leads straight to chaos and catastrophe. And then you have Billy's path, the path of courageous acknowledgement. And that is what brings order and peace back to the world.
And the story ends with this incredibly simple yet profound explanation. His mom asks him why the dragon got so big, and Billy says, "I think it just wanted to be noticed."
And so that leaves us with one last question to take away from all this. It's a simple one, but it's not always an easy one to answer. If you look at your own life, your work, your relationships, what small dragon are you pretending isn't there? What problem in your life just wants to be noticed?